Hello, I am Dr. Mari Lucy Cerda, a board certified behavior analyst, licensed behavior analyst, and founder and clinical director of Lighthouse Learning Center here in Lubbock, Texas. I'm really excited at the opportunity to get to share with you some of the important considerations of developing a trauma-responsive approach to challenging behaviors, as well as some possible ideas and tips for those who may be working in school settings. It's first important to understand what trauma is and how it can manifest in the students that we're working with. Trauma doesn't always result from an acute, significant event or a traumatic event, so to speak, but can also occur in much more subtle ways that are known as microtraumas. And oftentimes, children with disabilities or with learning differences experience microtraumas on a daily basis by simply attempting to navigate an environment that is not designed or set up to support their unique needs. And it's these daily repeated stressors that can lead to significant challenging behaviors due to them being in constant distress and dysregulation. A trauma-informed and responsive approach is guided by this application of 6 key elements: safety, trustworthiness and transparency, peer support, collaboration, and having a cooperative relationship over a compliance-based relationship, empowerment, voice and choice, and also factoring in cultural, historical, and gender issues. These foundational components are necessary in any positive relationship, whether it's in an educational setting or a clinical setting, to create a space where learning is possible. A trauma-informed or responsive approach also digs deeper than the simple functions of behavior that we are probably all familiar with. And it requires us to examine extensive learning histories across a student's lifetime and recognizing that these can create deep emotional and mental responses towards events that we might think are seemingly neutral or non-traumatic. It acknowledges the need to understand our students' or clients' life experiences in order to develop effective care and interventions that are individualized for them. It's also important to recognize how trauma can manifest in these outward and observable behaviors, and also how those manifestations differ across student demographics. Research does show us that white students are more likely to withdraw or show the more classic symptoms of depression or anxiety due to trauma, while our BIPOC students are more often misdiagnosed with a type of conduct disorder, mood disorder, emotional disturbance, despite there being research showing that they indeed suffer higher rates of depression and anxiety. It can also be difficult to recognize challenging behaviors such as verbal or physical aggression as a sign of trauma, as opposed to a conduct or mood disorder. The first is to understand that there are different types of trauma, and what may be a neutral event to me or you or to other students may in fact be a triggering event for a traumatic past learning history. The second thing is to recognize how behaviors are traditionally associated with conduct or emotional disturbances when in fact they may be related to a trauma or a trauma response. This requires us to build a level of cultural responsiveness as well. And the third thing is to focus on developing and fostering student relationships and family relationships as partnerships. We want to remember that parents send us their best every single day. Their children are their best. And the fourth is to create an educational environment that is rooted in safety through consistency and predictability. This also means creating a space where control is shared And when we reinforce student growth and positive behaviors, we also want to make sure that it is relational reinforcement and not transactional in nature in order to model what a genuine and healthy relationship looks like. And the fifth thing is to look at social emotional education and co-regulation skills as equally important as the academic skills that we're working on in our classrooms. Building a trauma-responsive classroom or clinic, it takes time, training, and endurance. This is heavy work, and I tell my team all of the time that it is heavy and that burnout is a risk. And so it's important that in order to avoid burnout, we have to recognize when our cup is becoming empty. Some ways that we can develop self-care practices is to first be aware and honest of where we land on a scale of 1 to 10 on our current burnout level. The second is to develop community. Community is essential in preventing these silos of isolation when we're working as educators or when caregivers feel as though they have no one that they can talk to regarding their child's struggles and needs. The fourth is to recognize that it's okay to not be an expert. None of us really are. And we want to continue to have a learner mindset as we are developing a trauma responsive environment. And the fourth tip is to ask for help. It's okay to ask for help. And just like we want to teach our students or clients how to ask for help without resorting to challenging behaviors, we too must develop the skill to ask for help. And at the end of the day, it's important to remember that we have a wonderful opportunity to model to children what a safe, healthy, and reciprocal relationship can look like. Thanks so much for spending time with me today, and I hope that these tips can help you get started in developing your own trauma responsive setting.